Hello, I'm Tupper, Head of Community for VRChat. These are the video patch notes for VRChat 2023.2.2. Let's get right into it. The first feature is a new addition to VRChat FizzBones called Squishy Bone. Using Squishy Bones, you can make bones in your avatar squish in additional ways they couldn't before. Using these settings, you could create a squishing effect that could be used for a lot of different things. For example, you can make a button that others can push down on your avatar. Since we've added a parameter to detect when a bone has been squished, you can then use that button to actually do something on your avatar. There's also been a few tweaks to the gravity and stiffness values, making it a lot easier to make adjustments and additions to FizzBones over time. These settings also just make it a lot better to tweak and customize. They're a lot more intuitive to use than before. We've also introduced a new versioning system to FizzBones. When we make changes that would normally break previous versions, instead we will just increment the version. You'll still be able to use previous versions and they'll still work, but newer versions might have some new features or tweaks that you might want to use. We've also updated our documentation on FizzBones. If you're a documentation reading type of person, go check it out there. You can also alternately just go and install the latest SDK with the VRChat Creator Companion and start playing around with it. Next up is a new quick menu UI mode that we've added called Guided Mode. VRChat can be an overwhelming experience for new users. You choose your first avatar, find cool worlds to explore, and you navigate the menu. Guided Mode makes all of that just a little bit easier. Guided Mode is a new UI mode that makes it easier to access the core features of VRChat. So cloning someone's avatar, changing worlds, or blocking a user is made much more accessible. New users get control over their experience without overwhelming them with options and choices. Guided Mode will be rolling out to new users partially, but over time we'll be collecting data to see how people use this feature. This way we'll be able to make sure that once Guided Mode is fully released to everybody, it's a good feature for all new users. We're going to keep tweaking and adjusting Guided Mode as more features are added to VRChat, focusing on helping new users. For example, someone could use Guided Mode to find groups that match their interests. This is the kind of experiments that we're thinking about doing, so keep an eye out for that kind of thing in the future. We've added a few more features to the VRChat SDK as well. First off, Data Containers is a new Udon feature that lets world authors store and access lists of data much more easily. Previously, creators had to find ways around not having native Unity lists in Udon, but now it's just built in. Data Containers also allow world creators to easily encode and decode JSON objects in VRChat. Both of these features are pretty technical, but basically they're going to allow world creators to make some really cool stuff. Oh, and there's one more feature I forgot to list. We've opened up access to the async GPU readback function in Unity, which is a bunch of fancy words to basically say that worlds can read data back from your graphics card very quickly. This is going to open up some interesting new toys for shader authors to play with. Let's go ahead and move on to the improvements and fixes that we've made in this update. To start, avatar statistics are now calculated on the server. Avatars that exceed your configured performance rank limit won't even be downloaded in the first place if the stats are available for it on the server side. This won't work for all avatars right away, as avatars have to be analyzed first. It'll mainly affect newly uploaded or recently updated avatars to start. The built-in keyboard now responds to the beginning of the click action instead of the end. This makes the keyboard feel a lot more responsive in general. We've made a lot of changes to our reporting UI to make it easier to report users and content. We've added a new visual indicator for when you're adjusting the avatar download prioritization distance. We fixed some issues with avatar cloning where it would say it was on, but actually it was turned off. We fixed one-handed movement mode on the Oculus Quest, both in standalone mode and in virtual desktop. We've made some improvements to world loading time, and we've reduced hitching when you're loading a bunch of avatars simultaneously. Finally, we've made a bunch of fixes and adjustments to the main menu's settings page. There's a few more defaults that got incorrectly reset in a previous update. If one of those default settings changed a few patches ago and you're waiting on a fix, don't worry, we know about it. We'll get to it. That's it for the video patch notes this time. As usual, check the description for the full patch notes. There's a lot more in there. We kind of just went over the big stuff in this video. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.